Welcome into the Extra Point here on A to Z Sports, powered by TennesseeTickets.com. And for the holidays, head to shop.A2ZSportsNashville.com for any of your A to Z Sports gear, pullovers, t-shirts, hats, polos. Shop.A2ZSportsNashville.com. Zach, the Vols beat Memphis. The rivalry is renewed in college basketball. In Memphis, Tennessee wins 102-92 on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway from the Vols win?
This rivalry's back.
Yeah.
I actually, look, I'm not connected with it. I didn't go to Tennessee or Memphis, but I know that there's bad blood between the two because Memphis is on the rise. They've got the best player in the country coming in next year. Penny Hardaway is going to build that program. You just know that he is. And Tennessee's program is at an all-time high right now. That is a very good basketball team that will be exciting once SEC play starts. But my biggest takeaway is that this rivalry's back, and I love it. I think it's going to continue to grow and continue to build over the next several years. And this is good for the state of Tennessee and basketball throughout the course of the state.
It's great because there was trash talk before the game, during the game, and trash talk after the game over the weekend. Still talking trash between the two sides and the two fan bases. It's great. It's set up nice between Rick Barnes and Penny Hardaway. Next year's game in Knoxville is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a 12-round bout, because Memphis is going to be that much better. Tennessee is going to lose some pieces next year, but next year Knoxville is going to be a game you can't miss. But I also love what they're going to do in year 3 with having the game in Nashville. Rick Barnes and Penny Hardaway wanting to build an event in Nashville around that game. But my biggest takeaway from Tennessee's win is 102 points. And that I feel like the only thing that's going to keep Grant Williams from winning the SEC Player of the Year in back-to-back seasons is Admiral Schofield. Admiral Schofield is just going crazy. He had 30 points in the win over Gonzaga on Sunday, and then he goes for 27 on the road at Memphis. He's knocking down threes. He's getting double-doubles. Admiral Schofield might be better than Grant Williams, but now those two guys went back and forth saying that Grant Williams is the most important player on the team for Tennessee, but Schofield might keep Grant from winning the SEC Player of the Year again.
Well, he's stepping up in big-time moments.
Right.
And that is helping Tennessee win games. They've had one loss, and that was a tough one where Grant Williams fouled out earlier in the year against Kansas. But since then, they've been extremely good, and Schofield's playing at an all-time high. I think this is the perfect time. And they've played some really good teams. You know, this hasn't just been a cakewalk through the first half of the basketball season for Tennessee. Once you get into SEC play, I'm curious to see how Grant Williams will, if he can elevate his game to the same as Schofield, there's a reason why this is a top 5 team.
Well, if he can not foul out, because you mentioned fouled out against Kansas, fouled out against Gonzaga, and he did foul out against Memphis. Now, here's a crazy stat, that the two teams on Saturday combined for 60 made shots. They also combined for 57 personal fouls. Way too many fouls called by the referees there.
Well, and that goes to the rivalry.
Yeah.
Right? The refs trying to keep them in check. Grant Williams it's becoming a problem because opposing teams are going to target that. They're going to go right at Grant Williams, get him in foul trouble early, and with 2 minutes left to go in the ball game, if you don't have Grant Williams, your interior player, that could turn in a big way.
Now, 2 quick notes before we get out of here about Memphis basketball. They kept referencing the number 1 versus number 2 matchup in 2008 between Tennessee and Memphis, where Tennessee beat number 1 Memphis in the FedEx Forum. They mentioned that this is the first time the FedEx Forum had been sold out for a Memphis basketball game since John Calipari was a head coach. And it's the first time a top 5 team has been in the FedEx Forum against Memphis since that game in 2008. That tells me 2 things. Memphis hasn't been very good, and the fan base has not been excited about things. And Memphis has been scheduling really bad teams. For a 10-year period to not have a top 5 team come in that building, that says something about how they're scheduled.
Well, I think that's about to change.
Yeah, definitely for sure under Penny Hardaway. And that's today's Extra Point here on A to Z Sports Nashville.com.